Imagine you're standing at the top of the highest diving board at your local swimming pool. From the outside, it does not look like anything special. Perhaps it's a 10-foot drop at most. You see people take the jump all the time. Some even do tricks off of it. People are jumping from diving boards constantly, so you know it's safe to do so, and you know it's possible. And yet, when you're about to take that first jump into the water, you're overcome with a sense that things can go wrong. You get cold feet and you have the urge to walk away. Some may walk away, while most may swallow their fear and take that plunge. Still more will preoccupy their time doing other things at the pool and have no interest in stepping on board in the first place. However, it is only that first plunge that is difficult, and the moment you take it, you want to go again and again and again. Soon enough, you're the one doing flips off the board and confidently diving into the pool. And sometimes you're the one who screws up and gets injured and has to be rescued by the lifeguard. Sometimes you know you can dive off the board because you've done it so many times before, but perhaps it's been a long time since the last time you did so, and you don't know if you still have the courage or the skill. Maybe the last time you dove, it did not end so well for you. Or maybe you've seen other people fail and can only think of the risks. You are, once again, feeling like it's your first time taking that dive. Writing a book is like diving off of a high diving board. When we first begin writing, we do so because we are inspired by others. Whether it is the stories we've read, the shows we've watched, or the music we've listened to. One way or another, we came to stand upon the high dive board ourselves and are looking down at the blank, empty waters of an opened Word document. The reason we avoid taking the plunge is often not because we are trying to simply write something, but that we must write something worth praising. But if you're a writer or aspire to be a writer, then remember this analogy. Remember that the first few dives must always be done with low stakes. You should not flip off the board on your first attempt unless you are completely confident in doing so, and no one would expect you to do anything else. Instead, you should jump feet first, lower the risks, and make it your goal to just write something. Once you've written something, do it again. Aim to do that small amount until you feel that you can do more. One way that I personally do this is by talking to my page. I imagine that I'm writing a message to a friend about what I want to write and why I'm having so much trouble writing it. Sometimes just having a monologue with the blank page can help you work out why you're not writing anything. And if you can do that, then you can be proud of yourself. You've written something today, after all, and that is an accomplishment no matter how small or big you think it is. If you plan to write a book, then start by writing your outline. The benefit of an outline is that it gives you a place to start and a structure to follow the next time you write. Another good thing to do is keep a physical notebook with you, not just something on your phone and anything but a quick picture of someone else's notes. No, handwrite those notes because handwriting them takes longer and you can absorb and work through your own ideas at a much more comfortable pace than you would if you were just texting it. Trust me, as a person who used to think that handwriting stuff was useless in the age of digital writing, you're gonna want to follow this advice. So we've talked about how to take the first step toward writing something on the page, but what about people who can already do that? What if you've already done your prep, but now you're stuck? What if you have no issues diving off the board, but you want to do a flip and you're just too afraid to do it? The answer is to find a way to involve other people in your writing, whether that is to post your current drafts publicly for people to read and interact with, or to tell a friend to check in on whether or not you've been writing something. Have someone in your life who can keep you honest. What if you don't want to go the public route? What if you simply want to find a way where you can write a alone and continue writing alone? First of all, I would tell you that this is a pretty poor way to think about writing. After all, humans are not an island, and your ideas will always come from somewhere else or someone else. Second of all, I would say that in addition to keeping a physical notebook on you, you should also purchase a physical calendar. Put it up on your wall where you'll see it every morning when you wake up. Get some red marker and only mark the days that you've written something. Or if you're trying to write a book, only mark down the days you've made progress on your book. Make it a goal to do that for 30 days and see what the calendar looks like by the end of it. Most importantly, do not wait to do this. The clock starts ticking the moment you hear this advice and the moment you buy that calendar. So you might as well try to fill it up with red marks today. Finally, if you're still having trouble writing, that tells me one of two things. Either you have absolutely no time or energy in the day to write anything, or you believe you have an abundance of time and you are waiting for the right moment for inspiration to strike. If you feel that you do not have enough time in the day for anything, then I would really question my life choices if I were you. What is taking up all of your time? How can you make time for yourself and your passions? If watching videos and scrolling through social media is how you decompress, then maybe you can make writing your way of decompressing. Maybe you can find more productive hobbies. Are you really unavailable at all hours of the day? After all, I know most people who work full-time actually have a lot of time to burn during their jobs. The script for this video, in fact, was written while I was bored at work with nothing to do. And the audio will likely be recorded between the time that I get home and the time that I leave to do my other hobbies. Do you find joy in writing in the first place, or is it only work to you? And if writing is only work to you, then why is that? How can you turn writing into something that makes you feel good about yourself while also de-stressing from work? On the other hand, if you feel that you have an abundance of time, then I'll remind you that you don't. From my own personal experience, I fell into this category. During the pandemic, I had time, but for whatever reason, I did not use it to write or be productive. It was only until the death of certain family members that I was reminded of how little time I actually have. And even though I am still young, there are people in this world who died far younger than me. How do you know you're going to live into your old age? How do you know you're eventually going to have a finished book? You don't. The only thing you know for certain is that you have time today, because tomorrow might never come. We all have a limited time to do anything, no matter how much time we seem to have on our hands right now. The future will never be as you envision it unless you start things today. So if this feels like it's you, here is the greatest advice I can give you. Imagine that you are currently living in your own future. Envision it. That means the present is now your past. What would future you change about your past? When your time is up, envision the person you know you could have been, and imagine who you might actually become if you keep putting things off. That's a scary thought, but it's not something you should avoid. In fact, you should let that fear push you to do something right now. Stop avoiding the finite nature of life by deluding yourself into thinking you have infinite time. You don't, and you never will. And if you continue to think that way, one day you will come to the end of your time and look back at all that you could have accomplished and wonder what could have been. The greatest joy and reward of any writer or any person is to be able to look fondly upon the memories we've made for ourselves, and to know that we did all that we could to make the most of the time we will never get back. So now that you've wasted enough time listening to me repeat an answer you already know to a problem that you will always have, it's time to close the video and start writing.